everybody. This is Sports Guy Ron. I'm here with the Week 1 results in the NFL and the Thursday night game prediction on the upcoming Week 2 schedule. The first game Thursday night in Week 1 was Dallas and Philadelphia. Philadelphia won 24-20. I have a key play or stat, which is a POS, play or stat. Key play or stat was the Sanders fumble. Miles Sanders had a big long run, got down to inside the 20-yard line on the run, and then in the subsequent plays after that, he fumbled and was recovered by Philadelphia. It was a pretty even game. Dallas, surprisingly, was pretty even with Philadelphia, except for that big play where they didn't get points down in the red zone. The Friday night game in Brazil, it was the LA Chargers defeating the Kansas City Chiefs 27-21. The key POS was Justin Herbert, who was 25-34 for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. Harrison Butker missed an extra point, which led to the Chiefs chasing that point on subsequent touchdowns, and they were instead of being even by kicking 2 extra points, they were down a point. Then they scored a touchdown. Pat Mahomes scored a touchdown. They went for 2 and missed it, so they were down 2, and they ended up chasing those points. Those points came, and it would have come in handy. But it's surprising to see Kansas City lose the first game, although they did lose to Detroit before. The Sunday games, Miami and Indianapolis. Indianapolis dominated, won 33-8. The 8 was a late touchdown. It was a 33-0 at one point. On my predictions, the win, I predicted Indianapolis to win. They did. I predicted them to beat the point on the point spread. Miami was favored by a point. Indianapolis obviously won that. The key plays, Miami, they had 3 turnovers. Turnovers are always a bad thing. And they only had 211 total yards in the entire game. Indianapolis dominated on defense. They dominated on offense. Daniel Jones looked good. As I said in my predictions, on the team predictions, Shane Steichen's always done good with bad quarterback play. Daniel Jones is at least frisky in times and can make things happen until he starts turning the ball over or gets injured. So let's see how long that'll last. But they could be something to deal with if they're going to play like that. The next game, Pittsburgh. They beat the Jets 34-32 in New Jersey. This is a surprising game just by the number of points scored. I did predict Pittsburgh to win, but I also predicted them to cover, which they did not by a point. The key play or stat, Pittsburgh, 17 fourth quarter points to take the victory away. The Jets had played well up until the fourth quarter, but Pittsburgh made the plays when they had to. And also Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdown passes. His demise has seemed to be overrated. He seems pretty good. At least he was against the Jets, who usually have a pretty good defense. Jacksonville and Carolina. Jacksonville won 26-10. I won against the win and against the spread. The key player or stat, Travis Etienne, 143 rushing yards. In my preview, I said I don't know which would be the winning side between the bad Jacksonville offensive line or the bad Carolina defensive line. I predicted Jacksonville. It wasn't even close. Jacksonville actually played really well in that game. Trevor Lawrence didn't have to do too much. The running game really carried the way, and Carolina and Bryce Young didn't look too hot. Looked like he missed Adam Thielen, and didn't get a whole lot going. Arizona beat New Orleans 20-13. I won both of those by half a point. It wasn't by much. The key stat, the red zone efficiency, Arizona's 2 for 3. New Orleans was 1 for 4. Also, there were two big plays in the game. One by Marvin Harrison, a 45-yard catch, which directly led to a touchdown. And then Trey Benson had a 53-yard run later in the game, which led to a field goal and really led New Orleans to try to catch up. Washington and the Giants, this game wasn't very close at all. I think Washington could have actually won by a bigger amount. I did have them winning, but I had the Giants covering, which was incorrect. The key play or stat, Washington outgained the Giants 432 yards to 231 yards. It was pretty much up and down the field. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse. The Giants, 6 points, that's just not going to get it done. It was almost the biggest blowout of the weekend besides Indianapolis and Miami, and most lopsided game. Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers won 23-20. I predicted Atlanta to win. That was incorrect. And against the spread, also incorrect. Key plays or players or stat. Emeka Egbuka had a 25-yard touchdown with 59 seconds left from Baker Mayfield. The rookie looked good, had 2 touchdowns. Atlanta did drive down the field for a field goal chance. Younghoe Koo missed the field goal at the end of the game. That was a theme of week 1, a lot of missed extra points, field goals, and such, and it really impacted who won and who lost. As in the next game, Cincinnati 17, Cleveland 16. I did predict Cincinnati to win. That's correct. I also predicted Cleveland to cover, which is also correct. The key players or stats. Cleveland had 2 turnovers, both on passes that weren't perfectly on target, but went off of the receiver's hands and went up in the air and were intercepted. Andre Smith, the rookie kicker for Cleveland, missed an extra point in the game and a 36-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. Obviously, those 4 points would have made a big difference. They would have been up a field goal. Cincinnati, who I did know that they always have a hard time in the first 2 weeks of the season, and against Cleveland with Myles Garrett. He always has big games against Joe Burrow. They only managed 7 yards in the second half. Now, that's not going to get it done for the rest of the year. You might be able to beat Cleveland that way. You're not going to be able to beat any playoff teams that way. The next game, Las Vegas 20. The New England Patriots 13 in New England. I was high on both of these teams. I did predict New England to win and to cover, which was incorrect. The key player or stat, Geno Smith had 362 passing yards. New England was only 1 of 3 in the red zone. Those are recipes to get you beat by a touchdown even at home. The San Francisco 49ers defeated the Seattle Seahawks 17-13. I lost on them both of those predictions. The key players or stats. San Francisco had a touchdown under 2 minutes left to the backup tight end. Jake Moody, their kicker, however, missed kicks and was cut after the game early this week. George Kittle has also been moved to IR, so he's out a minimum of 4 games. Brock Purdy also hurt in the game, even though he finished the game and played pretty well. He could miss 2 to 5 weeks. So those are going to really impact San Francisco. Tennessee went to Denver. Denver won 20-12. I won that game and won the cover. The key player or stats. There were 6 combined turnovers. Denver had 4 of them. Tennessee had 2. That's what kept Tennessee in the game, even though Tennessee only had 7 first downs for the entire game. It's hard to win any game in any league with 7 first downs. Continuing on, we have Detroit. Went to Green Bay. I thought they would win and cover. They did not. Green Bay won 27-13. Detroit never really felt like they were going to get into the game. Green Bay pretty much hammered them. The key player or stat, Detroit only had 46 yards rushing, 2.1 yards per carry. That's not Detroit's identity. Their identity is Thunder and Lightning, Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery, and neither one of them got going, and that affected the passing game, and they played from behind all game long. The next game, the Rams defeated Houston 14-9. I won both of my predictions on that. The key player stats, third down conversions. The Los Angeles Rams converted 7 of 13 third downs. Houston only 2 out of 9. It's hard to win that way when you can't stay on the field. That's why they only ended up with 3 field goals. Otherwise, this is a very defensive-oriented game. The Rams did move the ball better. They also converted 2 touchdowns versus the 3 field goals for Houston. That's the difference in the game. That's why they say you want to get touchdowns, not field goals. That's how you win. The Sunday night game was a classic. It's going to be hard-pressed to defeat that for a game of the year this year. Buffalo ended up coming back down 40-25 and won 41-40 against Baltimore. I won my prediction of Buffalo winning, but I lost by half a point my prediction of them covering the spread. Key players or stats, obviously Josh Allen, 394 passing yards. And you have to say Derrick Henry's fumble in the fourth quarter really helped Buffalo be able to come back and win on the Matt Prater field goal at the end. Derrick Henry had a fantastic game. He looked amazing, and he rarely fumbles, but once in a while, that'll get you. The next game, the Monday night game, the last of the week, Minnesota went into Chicago and won 27-24. Didn't look that way for a long time. Chicago led. J.J. McCarthy had a rough out of the gate the first 3 quarters. Threw a pick 6 to a backup defensive back that was playing for Jalen Johnson. But as the key player stat will show you, Minnesota 21 fourth quarter points. That's when they came back and won the game. I did win that prediction as I had Minnesota winning and covering. Okay, so overall for week 1, I did not pick the Thursday or Friday games, so that's why these numbers are a little different than most weeks with 16 games. So I went 10-4, my straight-up winners. But against the spread with a couple of close losses, I went 7-7. Hopefully we can do better than that this next week. So starting on Thursday night, week 2, we start off with a very good game and very interesting to see how this is going to play out. We got the Washington Commanders at Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 3.5 points. My prediction on this game versus the spread, Washington. I think they'll keep it close to under a field goal because I think Jaden Daniels likes the spotlight. He plays best in the big games or when everybody's watching, so I expect him to do that tonight. The problem is he's going up against a very good Green Bay defense that really handled Detroit in week 1. Can they do it again? I think they do it. Green Bay does enough to win the game but not cover. Hopefully you like this content. If you like it, give it a like. Hopefully subscribe to my channel and come back to see the next predictions for the rest of the week 2 games. Talk to you later.